Okay, and we're live.
All right, how is everybody doing today? Hope
Nobody's
people
watching
are
yet.
coming on here in a second. Well, today we are going to talk about the bison. I really enjoy the bison, and you'll notice me calling them bison, not buffalo today. Is anybody on yet?
Yes, we have somebody on now.
Perfect. So, I am Michael. I'm naturalist here at Buchanan County Conservation. We're based out of Fontana Park here, and we have the wonderful animal display. And like I said, we're going to be talking about the bison today. And then I also have Bailey holding the camera for me today, and she'll be chiming in on occasion and reading our comments and all of that good stuff. So with the bison, I am calling them bison. One of my pet peeves, probably one of my biggest pet peeves, you can talk to my wife about it, about these animals getting called buffalo. They are in fact not buffalo. That is, it's not quite right. There's buffalo that are native to Asia and Asia and Europe, and these guys are native to North America. Bison are. So some of the differences between bison and buffalo. Bison, you'll notice they kind of have these smaller horns. They have horns, not antlers. Buffalo will have much larger horns. Their horns can get up to be about 10 feet from one end to the other. The bison's horns can only be about 2.5 feet. You'll see on the male here, he's kind of walking that direction. He has a big hump on his back. Most buffalo do not have that big hump. They need that big hump. It gives them the muscle to get through the snowy areas, to use their head as a plow. So they will use their head as a plow to get through the snow. That's why the bison need that really big hump on their back. A couple other things that you'll notice that's different between a buffalo and a bison. Bison have much thicker fur, especially in the wintertime. They still have their winter coat. They're starting to shed it, as you can see. It's kind of falling off of their body. And buffalo will have really thin hair. They don't really have much hair on their bodies covering them. So bison are would be much in cooler climates is where they would like to live. These bison like to live in prairies. We actually used to have millions of these roaming throughout North America, and at one time back in the late 1800s we had less than 1,000 left out in the wild. So they were almost extinct in North America, which is kind of crazy to think about since there were so many of them throughout North America. You'll notice that they kind of use their tail like a fly swatter, just like a horse might. They are definitely grazers. You can see her. She's grazing on some, here comes the car. She's grazing on some grass right now, and they are herbivores. So they will eat mainly plants. So
We have a question about the tail. Why is it short?
I guess I am not sure why it's so short. I don't have a great answer for that right now. I apologize. Yeah, I guess it could be longer, couldn't it? I don't know. But I did want to show you, since we're talking about what kinds of things that they eat. Here's a skull from a bison. You'll notice, like I said, they have the shorter horns that kind of curve in. And then if we look at its teeth, ooh. The teeth are kind of flat. They're not very sharp. They have points on them, but they're not terribly sharp. So that means that it would be an herbivore. It would eat mainly just plants. Let me set that down so I don't accidentally drop it. If you look at their eyes are kind of off to the side of their head. So they are always on the lookout for predators, because when they have those eyes on the side of their head, it kind of helps them see a little bit easier the predators that are coming by them. And you'll notice them kind of twitching and moving their ears And the big bison is he's going to the bathroom right now, which is kind of fun. But oh, speaking of that,
You could have. Yep.
I forgot about this. I have a bison chipped. Okay, so this is actually a piece of scat or poop from a bison. It's obviously dried up, and it's been in our nature center for a very long time. But these are actually great to burn. The Native Americans used it as a fuel, and I've also heard that they have used it inside of diapers to help absorb the material that's in the diaper. So it's kind of interesting.
What else do they eat? We have a question about what else do they eat?
That's a great question. So they eat all different kinds of grasses. They're native to a prairie. So it would be kind of like this area, but if you could imagine all of these trees being gone and there's just grass everywhere, and it's as tall, well, probably not quite as tall as me yet, but you know, waist height right now, but in the middle of the summer it would be up over my head. And these bison would be grazing through those prairies. They were really, really important in the making of the prairie because they helped keep the prairie grass kind of compact, and the soil, also cultivating the soil as well. Their grazing on the grasses helps keep some of the other things out, like trees and shrubs and things like that. So they were really great at creating helping the process of creating the prairie. Which prairies are really important. Prairies once covered about 85% of Iowa, and today there's less than 0.1% of native prairie left in Iowa. So if we didn't have these great grassy areas, we wouldn't have the awesome soil that we have here in the state. So we should always be thanking our prairies and our bison because they did a lot of, they've helped us throughout the way.
Do you know how old these ones are?
So this guy right here, we have 2 males and 2 females. So he is about a year old. And then the other 3, I think they're about 5. I think they're around that 5-year-old, 4 or 5-year-old mark. But that one all the way over, the farthest one, that's the big bull male. And then the other 2 cows are on the sides there.
What are their predators?
So in the wild, you know, obviously not here at Fontana, in Iowa they really wouldn't have many predators currently at this time. But in the past, you know, wolves probably would have been their biggest predators. That would have been their largest predator. It would have taken quite a few wolves to take down a full-grown bison. And also, obviously, people. We were almost the demise of the bison. European settlers came over and they thought that they were an easy target, so they started kind of killing them and not utilizing them to their full extent. So that's why they were almost extinct in the country. So, any other questions yet?
Mm-mm.
All right, I think we're gonna go ahead and feed the bison. So in the wild, like we said, they would eat a lot of prairie grass, lots of dried grasses. Sometimes in the wintertime, you can see the wooden bunk over there. We fill that with hay in the wintertime. But right now, we don't really need to do that since there's all this grass out here. So that would be their natural thing that they would usually eat would be grass. And then we did also bring a little bit of corn. So just some cracked corn, so we can give them some of that. You think they're excited? I think they're excited. All right, guys, girls, ready? Sorry, I put it right in the nettles. I don't think it bothers them. And so there is kind of a hierarchy in the bison world. The male is kind of the protector, which the male is right here, the big bull. And then there's always the female, and one of the cows is kind of in charge, which I feel like is kind of similar to maybe the person world too. Let me grab some more corn. Hey, buddy. You guys want some more? Little dude, come here, bud. Ooh, did you guys see how he moved? The big bull pushed everybody out of the way. He's like, I'm hungry. All right, and then the other thing that I brought today, they probably wouldn't have a ton of these. Ooh. They probably wouldn't get a ton of these apples out in the wild, but maybe on occasion they might find an apple. But I went to Fairway this morning and bought a few apples for them. But I want you guys to watch the bison eat it, because they don't like, you know how we eat an apple, right? We take a bite of it, and then we chew it, and then we take another bite, and it takes us like quite a few bites to eat this apple. Watch what they do. See if they can find it. Look at it. She just eats it in one bite. She's like, yep, that apple's gone. Oh, you're not gonna eat the apple? What? Picky dude. Let's try you, little buddy.
Oh, he did not see that.
No, he didn't. You don't see that. There you go. He might take 2 bites on that one.
He's trying to get, he's like, oh god. How many stomachs do they have?
You know, I'd have to get back to you on that. I'm not sure. I think that they're similar to cows where they have quite a few, but I don't know how many they have. I'll look it up and I will respond to the question after we're done here, okay? All right, we have just a couple more apples left. Oops, sorry. Ooh.
You're not even eating the apples, dude.
There you go.
You're not even eating them.
Just in case he might eat it.
Oh, there he's eating
Oh, there
it.
he ate it. He ate it in one. Look at that. One bite. He's like,
Do you even chew that?
delicious. Really. Oh, and you spit it out. He spit out the apple. What a waste of an apple, dude. All right, well, I think that's about all that we have today,
Yep.
unless there's any other questions.
None right now.
Nope. All right, so I will see you guys on next Tuesday, and I hope you guys have a great week.
Don't forget to tune in on Thursday at 1:30 for What, Why, When,
Yep.
that I will be hosting live at 1:30. All right. Bye, guys.
See ya.